Hi, I'm Ren.
I'm Sam.
I'm Tosh.
And
we're
we're
the T Swift sisters.
Welcome back to the T Swift Sisters podcast, a Taylor Swift fan podcast for Swifties by Swifties. In today's episode, we're joined by Kathleen Perricone to discuss her new book, Taylor Swift is Life. We have a Billboard update, the 1-year anniversary at Travis at the Eras tour, and Taylor Swift week at a local Miami ice cream shop. Here's this week's Swift Scoop. I can't believe that we're starting today's episode with this for the 100th time, but we are back with a Billboard update to share with you guys. But it is just because we did tell you that if things kept happening, we were going to have to come back and keep sharing. So, Sammy, tell us what's going down.
Well, TTPD has officially tied for Taylor's career best with its 11th week at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Woo! Go TTPD.
Snaps.
Amazing. The last album by a woman to spend 11 weeks at number 1 was 1989. So our girl did it again. 1989 spent 11 non-consecutive weeks at the top of the list in 2014 and 2015. And TTPD is also the first album by a woman to spend 11 weeks in a row at number 1 since the Whitney Houston soundtrack to The Bodyguard. That one spent 12 weeks straight at number 1 from December 92 to March 1993. And Billboard shared this on an Instagram post on Monday.
So basically, the post was dated July 13th, which is like a few days from now, but they, I guess, released the like trajectory of what it's going to be a few days before. So next week, if TTPD stays at number 1 for another consecutive week, it will beat out this Whitney Houston soundtrack. I actually didn't know that 1989 was non-consecutive. Like I thought that this was always a consecutive like record to beat. So it is interesting that TTPD has been consecutively at number 1 for 11 weeks straight, whereas 1981 kind of tapered off a little bit and then came back. Our girl's dominating. I'm honestly surprised that Midnight's wasn't up there, but
Same.
maybe it's just like all of the new turned Swifties from the football era or like Eras tour in general that are just like really loving the new album.
For sure. I agree with you.
What do you guys think in terms of the length of top charting weeks? Like, what's your guess of when it's going to fall off, when it's all said and done? It could be like Tay Voodoo and fall off at number 13. Can you imagine?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Lowkey iconic because like 13, and then also it'll still be breaking all of the other records. So like I wouldn't be mad about 13, but I'm going to say, truthfully, 16 is my guess.
Okay.
I don't know if to go higher or lower.
Same.
I'll go 15.
Okay.
I feel like we're playing The Price is Right.
Right. Ooh. I wish I knew what like upcoming albums were going to be released by other people because I feel like that would be a factor in
True.
getting people's attention elsewhere.
I get that, but I feel like if they were really, really big artists, wouldn't we know
We'd
by
know.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like if it was somebody so prominent that they were going to knock Taylor off of the top 100 or Billboard 200, we would know that the album release was coming up.
Oh, I don't follow that. I have no idea when people are releasing stuff.
I'm going to say the next like biggest album I anticipate coming out, which it could be somebody else. I just also don't really follow a lot of other artists, but I know Sabrina's coming out with an album in August, but that's like August 20 something. So that still gives Taylor time to like hit 16. Actually, I think 16 would take us right to Sabrina's
Yeah, it would.
debut. And I think Sabrina's album is going to like skyrocket just because she's gotten so much fame from her last 2 singles, Espresso and Please, Please, Please. So I'm going to stick with 16 though.
I'll say 17.
Okay. Okay, but that's pretty much all we wanted to share for Billboard, just because it was a fun little update and we've literally spent so much time in the last few months talking about TTBD, just breaking records because she's iconic, truly. I mean, What is there to say? It could very well be Travis keeping the album at number 1 by just repeatedly streaming So High School. Which is funny because he was probably the one that kept 1989 at number 1 in 2014 by streaming Blank Space. So, which, speaking of Travis, and I know we're going to talk about him later today, but did you guys see the original reason or like original way he wanted to get on the Eras Tour stage?
Yeah.
Versus like how he actually did it?
Wait, no.
So in last week's episode, the season 2 finale of New Heights podcast, anyway, he was talking to Jason Kelsey and they were talking about his iconic debut at Eras Tour. And Travis says that what originally happened was that he was just kind of hanging out with Tay. And he was like, how funny would it be if the 1989 era started and I came out on one of the bicycles like with everybody else? And Taylor was like, do you really want to be in the show? And he's like, yeah, like it sounds really cool. Like it sounds like something I'd want to do, whatever. And she was like, I'll find a place for you. And that's how he got in that specific thing. And he like talks about that part where he's like carrying Taylor to the couch. And he says that the whole time he was doing it, he's like thinking in his head, like, don't drop the baby, don't drop the baby. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like treating Tay like the princess that he sees her as. So I love it. It was so cute. They have a bunch of like little snippets. If you go on their Instagram page, you can just watch like that clip without having to watch the whole episode. Iconic. They're too much.
So it was her idea to have him do the entrance where he did, like after Smallest Man.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God,
yeah.
I love
But I do think like knowing how goofy just the both of them are, and now that he's already put into the universe that like he would do the bicycle thing, I would not be surprised if we saw him on the bicycles. Like just to throw everything off. Because now everybody's expecting him in the TTPD part. Like you never know when he's going to come out type thing. But now I think it's definitely going to be like he'll return for the bikes at least one time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe spice it up like for a different show. So it's not the same routine that everyone saw in London.
Yeah. But I love them. And like I said, we will return to them later. But I did want to share something super fun. I know, Tosh, you never got to go, right? When you were in Miami, I think you tried to go and they were closed.
I tried and they were closed. Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about a local small batch ice cream shop right here in Miami. They're called Sweet Melody, and it is one of my favorite places to get ice cream here. We are very lucky to have them in 2 locations in Kendall and Coral Gables. But yeah, this week they are having a Taylor Swift week at the ice cream shop, which is available through July 14th. So they have like weekly rotating flavors. And I just wanted to come on here and share with you guys because they are a Swiftie small business, and you guys know that we love promoting that. And they're just like, their story is so wholesome and wholehearted. And it's just a single dad and his daughter. And this ice cream shop, Sweet Melody, is a love letter to his daughter, whose name is Melody. And I'm guessing she's a Tay-Tay fan, and it kind of made him become a Tay-Tay fan. So they're celebrating with Taylor Swift Week at the shop. And they have 3 pints that are only available until July 14th. And they're all dedicated to Taylor. So on Instagram, they kind of shared the story behind that. And it says, this week is dedicated to our favorite superstar, super relatable, and to our fellow Swifties. These Taylor Swift inspired flavors are not only beautiful, but each one hits a different mood or era. Here are the flavors. We have Cool Summer, like a play on Cruel Summer, vanilla ice cream with silver sparkle sprinkles, blue M&Ms, and pink sprinkle sugar cookies, made to look like the lover bodysuit at the Eras Tour.
How cute.
Yeah. Then we have Look What You Made Me Brew, which is an espresso ice cream with homemade toffee chip cookie dough. It's dark but sweet, and it's for anybody in their rep era. Next up, we have the Lavender Haze, all natural honey lavender ice cream. It says, this ain't that 1950s-ish, but it will creep up on you. It grows on you, you know?
Yeah.
So those are the 3 flavors. They're available in pints, and the pints are actually wrapped in really fun, like Taylor Swift pictures themes. So when you take it home, you actually have like a little pick of Tay in your freezer and while you enjoy your ice cream. But one of my favorite things about this restaurant, ice cream store, if you will, is that they make all of the things that go inside their ice cream homemade. So aside from actually making their own ice cream, they make like all the cookies, the brownies, everything that goes in there that's not like brand name like M&Ms or anything, that's made in-house and then put back into the ice cream that you're eating. So it's really special. But, yeah, I just wanted to share that. Again, they're located in Kendall and Coral Gables, and their Instagram is at Sweet Melody Ice Cream, so that you can learn more about their story and see the different flavors that they have. Hopefully they bring like Taylor Swift week back, or like make new fun flavors when Taylor's in Miami. That would be a great idea, so that anybody who's in town and going to the show can go and pick up a pint of Tay Tay ice cream.
I love that.
Yeah.
What flavor would y'all, which one is speaking to you? What era are y'all in?
I'm definitely going for the lover era. I like my ice cream full of sprinkles. The fact that pink sprinkles, silver sprinkles, love that. Love me some M&Ms too. I think I'm definitely a cool summer girly.
I'm definitely a look what you made me brew girly.
I felt that. Yeah.
Love it. Love the coffee idea. Love dough. So yeah, that's definitely my choice.
Love that.
Tosh?
I feel like I'm a big coffee girl, but not an ice cream, surprisingly. So I think I'd also go cool summer, because I do also like sprinkles.
I love that. Okay, I want to go back to the conversation that we were having earlier about Travis being at the Eras tour, because I think this is a big thing to talk about, because it was the 1-year anniversary of him being at the show, not of them like dating or anything.
Yeah. So on the day that we are filming this episode, it is July 8th.
So today is the anniversary.
So today, yeah, literally today, when we're recording this episode, it is happy 1 year to Travis being at the Eras show. Basically July 8th, 2023. Travis went to Kansas City and he attended the Eras tour. And as we know, that beautiful little iconic story where he had a friendship bracelet all ready to go to give to Taylor with his phone number on it. And he was so disappointed when he found out Taylor wasn't meeting people after the show. Vocal rest, of course, for the queen. As we know, then he went on his podcast, New Heights, with his brother Jason, and talked about, basically that whole experience and how he was ready to meet Taylor and wanted to give her the bracelet. And then here we are a year later, and we have Tavis. How do we feel?
I can't believe it's been a year, number one. Number two, I just want to circle back to last July. The reason why Travis even went to the Eras tour was because Brittany and Patrick kind of dragged him to go. And he was like, yeah, I've always been a fan of Taylor's. I'm super down, whatever, did the whole bracelet thing. And for the 1 year celebration, I guess, it was very, very low key, the celebration, until it wasn't. But he went back with Brittany and Patrick. And it was just so special seeing the 3 of them there together, knowing how much has changed in a year. And then Taylor did this crazy, the entire surprise song section from acoustic. Well, the whole thing is acoustic, but from guitar to piano was truly dedicated to Travis. Not just the crazy piano mashup, but starting from Sweeter Than Fiction mixed, what is it called? Mashup, thank you. With Holy Ground. Absolutely amazing. Love that. And because of it, we now get a gift also. Sweeter Than Fiction, Taylor's version, is now streaming on all music platforms. So it was only previously available as the extra song on the Target version of 1989 Taylor's version. And now you can listen to it on Spotify. Taylor said, thank you for attending my 1 year party. Here's the gift. Here's your little goodie bag. But then, of course, we got the iconic mashup of Mary's song, So High School, and Everything Has Changed.
No.
Everything in my life has changed because Taylor played Mary's song for the first time in 16 years. 16 years since she last performed Mary's song. We know that Mary's song, for those of you who might not be Taylor country core Swifties. Mary's song has the iconic line, I'll be 87, you'll be 89. And now she's like actually living that because Taylor is 1989 is her thing and 87 is Travis's number. And I just can't. I can't do it.
It's like that invisible string theory, like to the max. Like there's
a picture of her at a holiday party holding up I think it's like not dice, but like, is it dice? Is it? Now I'm thinking about it. Anyway, it has the numbers 87 and 89, like an 8, a 7, and then an 8 and a 9. Like just from the way that the cubes are holding. I know this sounds crazy, but I just saw it. I need you to believe me.
No, I can't. The thing is, like, I know it's true. I have a hard time not believing you because Tay Voodoo is so weird and real. Like, why is it real? Like the fact that she wrote those lyrics, I'll be 87, you'll be 89, and then she's always sporting 87, and then his favorite album is also 1989. Like, can someone kill me, please? I'm serious though. Like, how is that real?
I don't know.
Like,
there's no explanation, honestly. Like, what was she thinking all those years ago that led her to pick those numbers?
Well, because so Mary's song is about an actual couple. Like, she wrote the song for them, for Mary. Okay. And Mary, the protagonist, if you will, is 7, and then the boy that she falls in love with is 9 when they meet. It starts with I was 7 and you were 9. Blah, blah, blah,
you're right.
And tells the story, and then it ends with I'll be 87, you'll be 89. So it's the fact that their story ends at 87 and 89 is just what's so absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. I have chills. I literally have chills.
Fate. Meant to be.
I tell you, fate.
Oh, and Travis crying during the mashup. Okay. Can you not? Like,
I mean, that set off a whole bunch of other conspiracy theories on its own. But
like, if they're engaged or married already, because Adrian, my boyfriend, he was asking me, he's like, so do you think they're going to get engaged? I'm like, no, babe, they already are engaged. Okay.
That's the biggest topic.
I'm going to say fetch that they're honestly fetch to them being engaged and fetch to them already being married. I would not doubt if they were secretly.
Oh, I think they'll go the secret route 100%. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like present time that they're already secretly married.
I can take, yeah.
I'm going to say fetch, honestly. Like they're down bad for each other.
Fetch. It's
just like, how can you tell me? Like, he was literally on stage with her. Like, do you know what level of like trust and love Taylor has to have for you? Like, we haven't seen Tree on stage. We haven't seen Andrea or Scott on stage.
You got to put a ring on it.
That's true.
I don't know.
Fetch. I'm just saying fetch. Do we think that because obviously, like, this whole thing happened July 8th a year ago, and then some time happened and they started dating secretly. Like, do you think we're going to see maybe like an Instagram post of their 1-year anniversary? Do we think that like if it lands on an Era's day that like maybe Travis will come on stage again? Like, I don't know. Do you think we're going to get anything for their actual 1 year? Also, Travis still hasn't posted Taylor on his main. So just saying.
Maybe that'll be what we get.
I'm here for it.
I think we're going to get something. Like, I think there's celebrating out loud, like their love and engagement, and like the marriage part is like, doesn't have to be involved with the out loud part. But like, I think we're going to get like happy 1 year of us.
Yeah, no, I agree. I truly think whether they're engaged and or married now and or engaged, like if the engagement rumors are true and real, I don't think we're ever going to see the footage of them getting engaged. We're not going to see like the ring. We're not going to see the wedding pictures. And like, I'm totally fine with that. Like, that's your private life. You do you. You guys love each other. That's all that matters. But I do think that we'll see like the funny behind the scenes of like maybe Travis getting ready for the Eras tour, like, and Taylor's like filter that she uses for everything, taking pics of him kind of thing. Like, I think that's the content that we are going to continue getting of Tavis.
Yeah.
So excited
we're
to
here
see.
for all of it.
Of course. Who
Bring it
even
on.
knows where we're going to be in a year from now, celebrating the 2 years of like Travis Kelce's School of Manifestation. So I'm telling you, we need to get enrolled so that we get tickets for Miami, because I can't live like this anymore. Like, I need to know what Taylor and Travis are putting in their coffees, because something's working for them and it's not for us.
I told you we need to start making bracelets again to manifest it. He made the bracelet. That got the ball rolling.
I did. I made bracelets. Oh my God. I think I did something. I made bracelets last week, okay, because you were like, we need to make bracelets. And I was like, you're right. I made a bracelet 87 and 89. Is the manifestation working?
Oh.
Okay, so now you have to make some that say like Eras Miami.
Okay.
Miami.
Okay.
Did I like enter the same universe level that they're on? Like,
I think that was a secret.
because then I went to Arizona and I saw a bunch of people, like I saw multiple people wearing Eras merch. And then, guys, I think I'm on their level. Wait, I had to get my ID checked to buy a beer. And the waitress looks at my ID and she goes, Florida. And my jaw dropped.
What?
I just like, and she's like, did you get it? And I was like, Swiftie in the wild. I totally got it.
Oh my God. It's working. Keep it up. Keep it up. We have
I
to-
think
Mind
we're getting to the same wavelength. Like,
Okay. Okay, I'll
Whatever
start.
you're doing.
yeah, I'm gonna give you whatever I'm putting in my coffee. Okay.
Thank you.
We're going. All right. But I think that pretty much is what's going to take us into our interview. So give us a moment while we set everything up, and we will see you when we are back with Kathleen. We are back with Kathleen Perricone, who is going to talk to us about her new book that is called Taylor Swift is Life. So Kathleen, welcome to the pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. We typically start all of our interviews by asking our guests what your favorite Taylor Swift era is. And we'd like to be very clear because it could be different from a lifestyle era to the music era. So like you might like 1989 music the best, but your favorite era is the Reputation era.
Well, you were correct on the second part. So Reputation is my favorite era, but not my favorite album. It's top 3. But I love the Reputation era for many reasons. One, as someone who has dark hair and I like wearing black, when she came out looking like that and with the cover and the dark lipstick, I was like, okay, this is my vibe. Like I've always loved Taylor, and I don't care what kind of music she makes, I'm always gonna love it. But this like really felt like it spoke to my vibe, and so I was very excited about that. And obviously, actually. So even though I was a huge Taylor fan since Fearless, I hadn't gone to see her live until Reputation. And I went to the first show here in LA where I live, and then it became this thing that I did with my friends who no longer live in LA. So we met in Miami and went to the show there. And then maybe about 2 months later, not how long it was, we went to the very last show that was in Dallas. So we kind of had these great little meeting points in very fun cities. So we drank a lot and, laid by the pool in Miami and just like had the best time. And so when I think about my eras in life, I feel like that time period was like super special. And just a great album, on top of that, icing on the cake. But as far as favorite album era, I would say, again, this is really hard. So my 2 besties who we always are texting about Taylor, we are constantly ranking the albums, and it's always changing, especially when a new one comes out. And I feel like I always struggle with this, but I always go back to Folklore being And again, I think it's like maybe it's a time period as well. It was during lockdown, so that could be many reasons. But something about it, and I think because what I love most about Taylor is her songwriting, and that album is just like a masterclass in storytelling, and the songs are just so good. And I just when I first heard, I mean, obviously that time period was very emotional and hard for a lot of people for different reasons. And so for me, my dog had passed away. My dog is 17 years, like a month before Folklore came out. So all the feels. So I feel like Invisible String in 7, like the first time I heard Invisible String, I cried. So to me, that's like the marker of a good album.
Yeah. And I love how you shared that it's like your memories with each that make it your favorite, like your memories with the Reputation era and being in Miami and sharing it with your besties, but also like your memories with Folklore and how that album like got you through that tough time. Like I think we can all relate.
Keeping on track with favorite albums, favorite eras, let's go kind of into what made you a Swiftie. So when did you know that you were a Taylor fan through and through?
When I was in the club.
Yeah.
For me, Fearless was also my gateway drug to Taylor. And at the time when that came out, so the first single would have been God,
Love Story, I think.
Oh, sorry, thank you. Why am I blanking? I just sang that at a wedding, or sang it, drunkenly out loud, not on the microphone.
I was gonna say you sing too.
I mean, not well, but I try. So that Love Story was it for me, because I think I had heard of Taylor because, she was out there, and I wasn't really into country. But I really like the song. I'm a sucker for like a good pop song you can just sing along to. It doesn't matter what the subject matter is. So I loved that song, and I was like, oh, she's so cute. She plays the guitar. Like, I love it. And at the time, so if this was like 2008, I was in my late 20s. And so I remember people at work would tease me like, what, you're listening to this like teeny bopper? I'm like, it's not teeny bopper. I feel like I've been defending Taylor and my love for her for, 16 years now, whatever it is. But so I just really loved that. And then You Belong With Me. And then it spiraled, if that's the word. I feel like that's a negative connotation, but it spiraled in a good way. And then with just each album, I feel like it's just become a deeper appreciation for her and for her songwriting and just everything that she stands for. So it's just like, now I'm in it.
Basically, we have you on the pod today because we're going to be talking about your book, Taylor Swift is Life. And as we understand, it's a biography about Taylor Swift. So why don't we start with kind of what inspired you to write a comprehensive biography about Taylor?
So I actually, about 2 years before I wrote the book, I had written, it's called a special issue magazine. And it's one of those, it's like a one-off that's on a topic. And so I was doing those, that was my job at the time. And I was writing a lot of heavy subject matter. It was a lot of politics, and I wrote a lot about Anne Frank. And so when my editors there had come to me and said, oh, I don't know if it was, I don't know what, oh, maybe it was during lockdown when, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm blanking now. It was before Midnights came out. All my times are all over the place, but they had asked me to do a magazine on it. And I had pitched them Taylor many times, and they're like, no, it doesn't, they just weren't there yet. And then once they expanded their focus, then she worked. So I did a magazine for them about her, and it looked so cool. I was so excited to see it on the newsstands, and my friends would send me TikToks of it. And I was like, as long as the fans like it, because we all know how we are Taylor Swift fans, we know how they are about information and it being legit. And, it's very easy to mix things up, and there's a lot of Easter eggs and whatnot. So it was such a fun project. It was just a passion project. And so I did that. And then maybe about a year later, I started talking with Quarto, who is the publisher of the book. And we were just talking about maybe me doing something for them, and weren't sure what was going to work. And my editor asked me to do a Zoom meeting, and she said, we have this topic and you may not be into it, so no pressure. And I think I had just come back from night one at Era's tour. So I was already on the cloud, the high. And when she said that, I was like, this is a joke. I thought, because we have a mutual friend, so I thought like she knew I went and it was a joke. I thought it was like a cruel joke, but it was true. And so I was like, you have no idea. I think I had done like my tailor nails. I'm like, I am a full on dork. So you hit the right person to write. So that's how it started. It really was like a happy accident. And yeah, it was perfect.
You had to do a lot of research, obviously, to create this book. What are some unique things or surprising things that came up while you were deep diving in Taylor, without spoiling the book, of course?
Of course, yes. Well, it's funny. There's all different not layers, but different kinds of Taylor Swift fans. There's the people who know the songs and know about, headlines they see and boyfriends and, the squad and whatnot. And there's people like us who pretty much know everything. Like, it's kind of hard to really teach someone something new. And so for me, even for myself, I mean, I can't always keep track of it all because every day it's something new. But for me, what I took away from it that I learned, or maybe it's more so appreciated, was when you kind of take a step back and look at Taylor's the breadth of her career. And I went back and I looked at, I watched every interview she did when she was, during the country era and the Fearless era, and, read everything, every, Rolling Stone cover, and just to kind of see the progression and things that she talked about. And maybe she was a mastermind back then, but I feel like she mentioned things that, of course, I can't think of anything specific at the moment because I wrote this last year, but I remember there were interviews that I watched back in the day where she almost predicted things that she wanted to achieve, and they happened. And so, it just was just very cool when you kind of take a step back and just see someone for exactly who they are. Because it's, even I think for me, more so learning more about her childhood and her writing songs as a child, or when she was, went to Nashville and was handing out her demo of songs that she had, covered. And it's like, that is just like, to be 12, 13, 14 and do that is just so incredible. And I feel like that's what I want people to really take away. Because if you know her music, you know her music. But I want people to really understand just what a special, unique, talented person she is. And as an artist, I think that is what makes her, why we all love her, between, songwriting, of course, but just like this whole world that she's created, I think is so special. And I would love for people to kind of learn like the genesis of that and like where it all came from.
And I think like our next question kind of goes along with what you were saying of like, there's so many headlines, there's so much information out there, and like you want to give us, solid information. You want it to be like kind of like approved by Swifties because you know how we are. So how was that process of like verifying your information and your sources and parsing through it all? Like, I feel like that could be so tough.
It definitely was. But I went back and I watched everything. So any quote I used or information I used, I made sure it either came from her or like, she said it in an interview, or if something that it was on record, so to speak, like nothing. And if something was like, I think probably when I was writing about Tom Hiddleston, if it was something that was a source, then I would, say that and then maybe back it up or disprove it with something that was actually factual or a photo. Because it is hard, and when someone has been around and been doing interviews, and she's been doing interviews since she was, gosh, I think one of the first ones I found was when the family moved from Pennsylvania to Nashville, and she was 14, 15. And so, she told things in that article that when the story maybe was told by her mom in a different article was a little bit different, or the age was different. So sometimes that drove me crazy because I am a stickler for getting things correct. And especially when it's Taylor, obviously definitely want to make it that way. So I would be driving myself crazy because I'm like reading more interviews to see, okay, so who said it the most that it was 14 versus 15, or this song. I mean, some things were so just so specific and a little, probably I was in my own head at 4 a.m. being like, trying to get through it. I would say for sure, everything, like I said, came from her mouth, whether it was in print or in an interview or, an award show or red carpet. Definitely nothing that would be, as a Swiftie, of course, I'm very protective of Taylor. So, I made sure that everything was legit. And with the Easter eggs, obviously, she's given us very little to work with there, aside from letting us know we're not getting it right or going in the wrong direction. So that is harder because obviously it's people's people's theories, and some theories are totally believable, and then there's another theory that's the opposite that's also totally believable. So you kind of just have to just like pull the lever and just pick one or not do it. So I think like with the Easter eggs, that was really hard. So I was trying to get some like the OG Easter eggs, like the maple latte is like such, like, to me it was just like such a great one, 'cause it's like so specific and weird. And again, that came from a report, like a tabloid report, that they had been at that Brooklyn coffee shop, and like something that specific and quirky that she put that then as an Easter egg. Like that's just, to me, I just like, that's like, I like how weird she is,
Yeah.
Okay, so you have this concept in your book called Swiftology. Can you kind of explain that to us a little bit and how you decided to include that?
Yeah, so Swiftology is what I like to call the Taylor Swift universe, like the TSU, not the MCU. So it's like,
Love that.
all the Easter eggs. That I was going through the book, because like I said, I wrote it a year ago, and I wrote a lot because there's like a lot to say, and we had to cut so much. So when I was looking at all the things, a lot of things I had put in the book, maybe we could do a part two, maybe there will be. There were things that I really loved that were really part of that really niche Swiftology, and it was like just kind of taking a closer look at the lyrics and the things that the symbolism and the colors and the seasons. And I had even looked at like the times. Obviously there's midnights, there's 2 a.m., there's 3 a.m., there's like so there was all these like things that she writes about that connect with other songs. So I was trying to draw, or I hope I'm drawing, some kind of parallels in the lyrics and the songs and how it all kind of ties back together. So in the section in the book that is Swiftology, it's Easter eggs, and I believe I don't want to get confused of what was cut, but it's definitely colors. I mean, colors are a big thing. All the albums are colors, but in the lyrics, the colors that she talks about and how they connect back to other songs. And I will say, like, going back to one of your questions about what I learned, I feel like when I was looking into the colors, there were things that I didn't put together about, like, not just a color, but like a shade of a color. So it was like she talked about champagne here, and then and now I can't remember what the other color was, but it was something that was like that. So it's kind of like how Invisible String is green and teal, but it was not, but it was from other songs, and it was about the same subject matter. So it was just like, again, it just goes back to me just being blown away by how endlessly creative, and like they just, I mean, I don't know, I would die to know how she keeps track of these things. Is there a spreadsheet that is, encrypted? This tree holds like a tablet that is in like a glass case. There's got to be something, because I just don't know how she keeps it all, like how she keeps track of it all, because there really is these invisible strings that connect everything, and I just think like that's just so freaking cool.
What would you say your favorite part of the writing process for this book has been, or was, since it was a year ago?
I mean, I definitely would say, I think I'd said before, just kind of really taking a step back and looking at Taylor's entire career and just really appreciating it, because it's easy to be in the moment, this album or the next album, or what, Reputation, Taylor's version, and then will there be another album, and then this one's a double album. So there's always so much happening that if you kind of take a step back, and I think I appreciated her even more so when you see the trajectory and how she's changed and evolved and just mature and refined all of her tools on every level. And so I feel like for me it was a treat to see that, and it just made me love her that much more, because I just think I think she gets a lot of crap, as we know. I mean, Swifties get crap too for for various reasons, but I just feel like people who give her crap for whatever reason they give it to her, they just don't understand and they don't appreciate it. And I feel like that's what I was trying to tell people when they was like, why do you like her? Because now I'm even older than I was when I first fell in love with her. I'm like, I just cannot say enough about just how impressed with her I am, about how her storytelling, her songwriting, the fact that she plays piano and plays guitar, and that every night on Eras Tour she's sitting out there just like writing or playing songs that she has probably never, many of them have never played before. And it's just, I just think it's so special what she's created for herself, her career, her fans, and I just think that should be celebrated. She should get more credit for what she's done. So one of the things also that I appreciated about her and how like she obviously has a very special relationship with her fans, but I feel like the relationship that her fans have with each other, Eras Tour, I was so like the whole bracelet thing I just thought was so sweet. And at the Eras Tour that I went to here in LA, my friends and I met up with one of her college friends who I'd never met before, and she was there with her 12-year-old daughter. It was really cute, and she had made us all these bracelets, and like she even know us, and like they were so great. They were like I still wore them for like weeks after because they were just kind of chic and like they were black. She'd like let me pick my colors, so I did black and gold and white, and I had a lot of Reputation theme to them, and I just thought like it was just so sweet of her, and she didn't know me, and I just thought like Taylor has really like bonded people you wouldn't. I mean, I go to concerts all the time. I'm not talking to random people and sharing gifts with them and bartering whatever it is. Like I just think like that's just so fun and cool and special. And in a time in this world where things are really haywire and can be very negative, it's nice to have that. And so, so I think like I feel like she deserves a lot of credit for that because I don't think people like recognize that as much.
Yeah, and I think in the community, what I've seen at least firsthand is that Taylor is almost what becomes the invisible string. Like you talked about going to the Reputation Stadium tour with your besties in Miami and meeting up in that communal place and like having drinks and getting ready together and all of that. And like that is such an invisible string because that's how we went to the rep tour.
Yeah.
That's how we went to LA, like meeting in the place and just enjoying that time together. And like, it's all literally like woven through Taylor and the things that she's done to bring us together. And I really appreciate that. And it's cool to see how it changes across friend groups, generations, albums. Like it's so special. It truly is.
Definitely. And I feel like this last Eras Tour especially, also that was just a big like pop culture moment too. But I feel like I had so many, I'm the oldest of a lot of cousins, like something like 14 cousins. And all of the different sets of cousins went to Eras Tour. Some of them even traveled like other states with their moms. Like one of my cousins went with her mom's sister, her mom, so her cousin, her mom's daughter. They all went and they had the best time. And it was like a family vacation. And it's like they like, maybe her mom isn't the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but just to do that was a memory they're always going to have. Like, you're going to be old ladies, the three of you, and you're going to be talking about the podcast you had and when you went to LA for Eras. And I just think like, I mean, I feel like I feel like lucky, like people can clown on Swifties all they want, but I feel like very lucky that I have this and that I can be open to this because it's like unexpected. When I tell people I love Taylor, they think I'm teasing and I'm like, no, I really do. And I can tell you all the reasons why. So I just think it's, it definitely has. And I think it was definitely kept me closer with friends who have moved away because we met in Miami, met in Glendale, Arizona, but also with my younger cousins. It's something now that we have to talk about. So I'm going to a wedding in September. I'll be bringing my book with me, many copies. And so I can talk to my 14-year-old cousin or my 28-year-old cousin about Taylor. And we could, actually the wedding is in Kansas City. So my eyes peeled.
Before we finish, tell us when your book comes out, how our listeners can buy it, all the things.
So the book is, let me do my Vanna White, Taylor Swift is Life. Like I'm doing like the beauty product, although with my hand behind it, you can't see it. So the book comes out July 16th. The book is called Taylor Swift is Life, if I didn't already say that. And it is available basically anywhere you can buy a book, whether that's Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. The ebook is on Apple too as well. You can get it there. So pretty much if you just Google Taylor Swift is Life, you can buy it from whatever retailer you prefer. And the book, this was the first, I think I had mentioned it earlier, is it inspired a series called Modern Icons. So this book is the first in a series that's on mostly pop music icons, but there's also a couple actors thrown in. And so those will be coming out over the next year. And each book will look like this, which it kind of looks like a textbook, which is what I kind of like. So it's a guidebook textbook, and each artist has their own specific color. So, when you buy them, they all kind of look uniform and they look great on a bookshelf. So, so I think like that's cool. Like, when they created this, to my knowledge, that's not where they were going with it. It kind of came about after the fact, but I think it's super cool. And Taylor, you know, she was the inspiration. She's always paving the way for somebody. And so so I think that's like the cool part about the book. So I know some people like prefer a book, an ebook versus a physical book. But I think for fans who, you know, like to collect Taylor things, I feel like the physical book is just a bit more, you know, again, like if you had a bookshelf or just like, just something kind of, you know, tactical. And like, to me, I'm a hoarder. So as you can see, I'm a maximalist. So I like to, so, you know, when I buy books on ebook, I read them at the pool or beach and that's it. You know, you kind of forget about it. So I think for a fan, you know, it's nice to have the physical version, but if you Google it, you can find it. However you want to buy a book, that's how you can find it.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. Let's do it again sometime.
All right, guys, that about wraps up this week's episode of the T Swift Sisters podcast. Our season 2 is very quickly coming to an end. So this may be one of the last times that you guys see us for this season, but we have a lot of exciting stuff coming for season 3. Big changes are coming, and we are so excited to share that with you when the time comes. But for now, let's roll back a little bit to our interview with Kathleen. I just want to shout out Kathleen. Thank you so much for coming on the pod and having this episode with us. If you want to purchase a copy of Kathleen's book, Taylor Swift is Life, it releases on July 16th, anywhere you get your books. Remember, she said that the book actually has like a really nice texture. Is texture right? Like fabric kind of thing. Very good collector's edition. So for all of us Swifties who love to pick up merch, this is pretty much like essential for the collection. A lot of fun Taylor Swift lore is in there. So anywhere that you get a book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, etc., you can pick up a copy on July 16th. Remember to follow us on social media for more Taylor Swift news updates, fun stuff. We are at T Swift Sisters Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and at T Swift Sisters on Twitter. Thanks for savoring this week's Swift Scoop. We hope you've had your fill of all things Taylor Swift, and we will see you next week right here on the T Swift Sisters podcast. Bye.